Alright, I need to know if my baby CAIN is alright, because considering what happened the last episode and him like bursting into flames, like we just know that he was unconscious. So I need to know that he's alright, but let's just see. It's finally season 3. Again, I don't think that they are gonna give us a season 4. So it's only 11 episodes until the finale, and then the story is also officially over. I am actually extremely sad about that because I actually grew fond of CAIN. Like, come on now. He's one of my favorite men on this platform, but let's just see. Season 3, Episode 1. The endless night descended upon the earth, and a crimson moon rose in the sky. Well, damn. Oh my god. Episode 1, the beginning of the end. Heaven's Secret, too. The beginning of the end. Even though I must admit to y'all, I don't think any storyline will ever be capable to beat Heaven's Secret 2. Like, it was nice, the development and Malbonte coming together into one person, but then with the horsemen and the world collapsing, then all of our favorite men like being on the side of evil, even though they don't want to, and they're like living shells, a former part of who they used to be, and we're kind of like their saving anchor, like trying to remind them of who they were. That's the best storyline. Like, not even Kali Call of Darkness will ever come close to that. What is even happening? The candle flame swayed monotonously to drawn-out singing of the church choir. Emerging from the darkness of the high vaults pastor, a gape stood at the altar. A shadow lay across his expressionless face. Oh, I remember now. Like, Pylan's woman. She was laying dead on a digestion table, and or nice little... can I call her prison ward? Because she sure as hell is not friendly at all. She is digesting angels, or more like immortals, in order to find out what makes them so special. On days when faith has all but left us, it's important not to lose hope. First and foremost, hope in brightness within each of us, in the virtues of all humanity, unity and love. And of course, trust in our neighbor. Let us rid ourselves of pride and dedication, and dedicate our prayers to the one who strives for the good of us all. The people who had come to the evening service didn't notice as the moon outside the window slowly turned crimson. Then suddenly the entire room was filled with a rich red glow. What is even happening? Why all of a sudden the moon is crimson red? Like, not just the moon, but in general, the entire atmosphere is red. Let all our words be about her. Let pure thoughts guide and protect her, so that she may continue her work, so that she may save us from suffering and chaos. The candle flames began to waver and then went out. The room was permeated by a thin veil of smoke and the smell of incense. Left in the darkness, people began to whisper. Like, I keep on forgetting that this is like a continuation, like a spin-off in the world of the humans after Heaven's Secret 2 already happened. Like, this is the continuation, like when Sifa Malum has all the power and then all of a sudden all these abominations show up, causing mischief and wreaking havoc, like trying to create darkness in the entire universe. And seeing all those signs here with the red moon and everything, I have the feeling that we are literally just in the human realm trying to find out why all those awful things are happening, as if the horsemen are like creating all this mischief upon Earth, and humans are like trying to wrap their head around what's actually going on, and there are like these safety squads that are trying to piece everything together and save the last remaining bits of humanity, and then the crimson red sky, because of the fact that the Mother of Life has been released and everything, like all these signs. But this is after everything happened, after the Mother of Life has been destroyed and Sifamalum has the power. This is a sign. Herkin. Agape didn't have time to finish. A dark silhouette appeared outside the window, blocking out all the light. The beating of powerful wings broke the glass and launched whirlwinds of cold night air into the church. Well, damn. Abominations. Sitting on the altar, the abomination fixed its eyes on the pastor, frozen a few feet away from the creature. Well, bye. Oh my goodness. Demons sent by God. That was funny. Oh god. Agape, mesmerized by the moment and the belief in his own expectationalism, reached for the creature's horns. This man is dumb. No one, a lot of people say stupidity gets you killed. We can see it. Oh my god. Like, they are getting a lot more venomous, now that I think about it. I would assume because they feel like the changes in the atmosphere, and that makes them feel even more nervous, or more like even more agitated, because they can see that their power is like growing, and they are immediately feeding onto it. He gonna die, but oh well. One of the parishioners rushed toward the pastor and pushed him aside, shielding him with his body. Nah, why? The mouth closed on the man's hand, and he screamed. Blood splashed the altar and the walls of the church. Now, you should have let Agape actually be killed, because that's just stupidity. Like, someone that is smarter had to save him by pushing him aside, and he is the one now being infected. Why? That's why, in my eyes, if you can't think straight, you're gonna get killed. I'm not gonna sacrifice myself if you're not even thinking about surviving. Like, you know that they are creatures that are killing humans on a daily basis, and the first thing you say, oh, shiny, let me just put my hand on it. Nah, they should have let the pastor die, because that's actually stupidity. Agape fell at the feet of the crowd, frozen in horror, and looked out of the broken window. Dozens of spawn flew past, heading for the base. What are those sounds? I can't see anything from here. I need to try and get a look outside. Lean out the window. Leaning out the window, I looked around. Dozens of abominations were crashing into the base upper floors, knocking down towers and Gothic spires. One of them almost took my head off, whistling by only a few inches away from me. They literally took her head off, technically. I'll take the book and find the others. I need to know what's going on. Babe, you can see what's going on. The abominations are winning. I quickly closed the shutters and then crawled up, leaning against the wall. My injuries from the last encounter with the abominations still ache. The pain shoots through my entire body when I move wrong. I hobbled to the bed and gathered all my notes back into my notebook and closed it. Stacking everything together, I grabbed my backpack and shoved it all inside. The radio hissed. I picked it up, hoping for a command from the general, but at that very moment my door swung open and Noah and Greg ran in, both out of breath. Aw. You're supposed to be lying down and recovering. Oh, you think? Throwing the backpack with the radio over my shoulders, I tried to straighten up. Or Wing took the burn off the blow. Other soldiers wouldn't have thought to look for me, but the squad remembered the state I was in and decided to come to the rescue. Now they better. We were the ones that saved them the last time. At least they know what gratitude means. Where's CAIN? Me! And Anna aren't responding. The general and Anna in the next wing, and Nia and Bylan are already fighting in the sky. Only we were nearby. Lester's missing too, but I think he'll show up soon. I sent him to the lower floors. How did the abominations get here? Aren't there hundreds of traps around the city's perimeter? Yes, there are. I think they all worked. This wave of creatures is just so big that they managed to break through. Anyway, are you ready? We need to get out of here. We'll meet the others in the hall and decide what to do next. Well, happens. Oh my god. Oh, that used to be a soldier. God, my room shook and then the wall with the window collapsed along with part of the ceiling. Oh, I thought the ceiling had already collapsed. I just couldn't find the word for it before. The ceiling. I thought the ceiling collapsed because we said that the abominations almost took our head off. Like they flew on top of us. An abomination grabbed the hole it had made with its claws and climbed inside. Do I feel bad for you or not? Honestly, I do feel bad for you because no matter what kind of a bitch you are, I wouldn't wish this kind of pain on anyone. And even though this man was fine actually having us being raped, we remember his bitch-ass attitude when we were on the ship before we met those people that were committing cannibalism. He was fine with us being raped and whatever. Again, if I behave the exact same way as you do, then I'm not better. I'm worse because I know better. I wouldn't wish this kind of death on you. I wouldn't. Oh my god. Bitch, you're already dead. You're already dead, sir. Like, the way that this just shows that we humans want to live. I think that's a nice kind of plot twist. Bitch, you're dead. Look at your face. Save me. Path of Devil's Whisper. Recognizing the man, I rush toward the abomination, positioning myself so Greg and Noah can see my face. I pretended to reach for the soldier as if trying to save him, watching as the hope in his gaze turned to realization and despair. And as his eyes filled with blood, I smiled. We're like, bye. Looking at the abomination, I ordered, take the rod out. Ooh! Oh my god. Yo, we're the devil. I think this, y'all, I don't know how to feel about this. I think from one side it's savage that we literally are standing in front of him. Back then he had all the cards and now we are holding the cards because we have the power to do something with these abominations. And instead of using our power to save him, we're commanding this man to kill him. Honestly, again, it's savage, but I feel like it's... let's just say it like this. I wouldn't want to be this person. There. Blood spurted from the man's mouth as his eyes widened and dimmed. Retribution seems fair to you. The soldiers... What did I say? The abomination's head suddenly snapped back, unnaturally, as if someone had broken his neck. Then the abomination's wings froze and the creature's carcass fell, revealing CAIN standing behind him. CAIN 1000% was thinking, bitch, you actually still dared, because he saw the darkness in our eyes when we actually killed Greg's little brother. But I'm always happy to see CAIN. Donna has already deployed other squads for defense while they distract the others. We need to find the others. Doesn't it bother you what happened to him? Noah looked at CAIN in shock, waiting for some kind of reaction from us. By the way, you almost died because of him. I don't know why my powers suddenly went out of control, but I'm fine now. Liar. Liar. Because this is not the first time that this man is losing control. I would say maybe he's getting like some sort of order from above or from the person that he made a deal with. And when he refuses to do this man's bidding, that man is trying to win over him by kind of forcing his will onto him, and CAIN is feeling this man's presence more and more in his head, and that's why he's freaking out, and that's when all this flame happens, or this man is being called to that man to the depths of hell and whatever. Sure, I believe it. Me. Greg looked at CAIN doubtfully, then at me. CAIN passed out in front of me. It didn't seem planned. Damn, we don't have too much time. Let's discuss this with everyone later. Now is not the time. I had to get close to the very edge of the collapsed part of my room to retrieve my backpack, which had landed over there earlier. As soon as I grabbed it, I was jerked into someone's arms, and a new spawn crashed into the space where I had just been standing. CAIN, why do I have you? Why do I have you? You're supposed to look after me if I'm too dumb to do it. You knew what you were getting into when you decided to be with the bitch. Don't forget to look around. The creature turned his gaze from Greg and Noah to CAIN, who took off, drawing its attention to himself. Holding on to me tightly, he shouted, "Why are you standing there? I didn't soar into the air for show. Run before it remembers you. We'll fly to the other wing through the roof." He says, "You guys run, I'm taking her with me." Oh my goodness gracious. The abomination, distracted by us, almost brushed CAIN's wing, but he deftly dodged and soared higher, throwing the creature back with a powerful gust of air. I'm in love with CAIN, let me tell you. No matter what this man is doing is such a turn on for me. The majority of them are above the base. Get down to the ground. No. You make it sound so easy. Do you want to bring some creatures to your friends? Let's get rid of the ones flying after us first. That. CAIN being the one with sense. Strapping on my backpack so that it wouldn't fall off, I wrapped my arms around the immortal's neck. Just taking. We're just using the opportunity. Hello. The high speed made it hard to breathe. CAIN noticed and lowered his head, and then suddenly flew up, causing a couple of the creatures pursuing us to crash into the ground. Whoop. Karma. Just be patient for a little longer. I'm pretty sure that he's not happy with this either. And look how he's actually caring for us. Like, he noticed that it was difficult for us to breathe. So he lowered our head so that it would be a little easier for us to breathe. Like, that when he lowers his head, it's easier for us to actually take a deep breath because all the wind is not in our face. CAIN's gentle voice had a calming effect, of course. Pressing myself closer to him, I felt him squeeze me tighter. Several more abominations followed us. CAIN caused the creatures to accidentally injure each other and get rid of them before he paused in the sky. Does he also have the power to control them, maybe? In the distance, the occasional spire from the base was visible. They almost disappeared into the night. We had flown away from Adam because of the pursuit. We can go back now. We'll fly around from the side with few abominations. Suddenly my leg burned. From CAIN's stunned face, I realized I wasn't imagining it. Something was happening to him. CAIN? He's being called upon again. What? He's angry. So it's he. They're rushing me. He's angry. Now it's clear what caused his invasion. Hold up! Did he make a deal with Sifa Malum? Is it just me? Why am I the only one thinking about this right now? Feeling the seal in his hand burning, the only thing I could think about was how I could slow my fall. CAIN pressed his lips together and looked around in search of a place where he could take me the fastest. Oh my god. Because he knows he will be taken by this bitch. Adam is too far. I know a place that's closer. Hold on. He knows he's gonna be called upon. It flashed through my head that CAIN could be lying to me. That the spawn attack could only be a convenient excuse to unsuspectingly drag me away from the squad. What good would that do him? What good would that do him? Honestly, like, I sometimes don't get her head. I couldn't think clearly next to CAIN. I wanted to trust him even when everything screamed for me to do the opposite. I mean, it's not his fault that he can talk to us. This is literally like doing a sort of a deal with the devil. Like, you know what you were sacrificing, and he knows it too, but the second you try to talk to someone else about the deal you made, it causes you physical or mental suffering, because this is something that is not supposed to be known by everybody. I twisted my leg around and looked at the burning mark on his hand. The signs seemed very familiar to me. CAIN beat his wings and accelerated. Snow was scratching my face, so I buried my nose in CAIN's turtleneck. Just a little farther. A few more bounds and he landed on the half-ruined roof of the old cathedral. Yep. Let's hope it won't collapse. He lowered me down, then grabbed his hand, which seemed to be in great pain from the seal corroding his skin. Oh, so it's not only burning us, so it's actually burning him too. And his first priority was not to actually get rid of the pain. His biggest fear, which was causing him the biggest pain, was literally having us fall from the sky. So his first priority was getting us to safety and then getting rid of the pain in his hand. In love with this man.
The spawn won't find you here. Wait for me. Don't risk going to the base alone. Or at least wait for the others.
I sat down breathing heavily, trying to calm my heart, which was racing from the flight. CAIN turned away, preparing to disappear, while he suddenly shook his head as if throwing off the spell and flew up to me again. What is it? I didn't have time to figure out what was happening, and then CAIN kissed me. Kissed me. Let's use the opportunity, come on. CAIN's movements were greedy, as if time could be taken away from us, as if he had something to fear. Maybe he has the fear that one of these days he won't be capable to appear here at all. Like, I don't know what kind of deal he made. He won't tell us, or maybe he just can't tell us. And the deal that he made literally is allowing him to be on Earth. But his original place is hell, just to put an example in here. And every time he is on Earth, he is straining himself, or he's drawing the energy from the person that he made a deal with. That person he made a deal with actually allows him to remain on Earth. But the second that CAIN does something that that man does not agree with, he's calling upon him and literally like just calling him, or more like revoking the privileges that he granted CAIN. And that's why he automatically disappears. And that's why he also can't do shit about it. Taking my backpack, CAIN threw it on the snow and pulled me closer, placing one hand on my waist and touching my face with the other. It was a bitter kiss, teetering on the edge of farewell. It froze the butterflies inside, and then they shattered, breaking my heart from within. CAIN took a few steps forward, forcing me to retreat. Pressing the back of my head against the stone wall, he shielded us from the falling snow, and leaned lower so I wouldn't have to reach for his lips. His warm breath scorched my cheek and then touched my lips again.
I'm sorry.
I really wish we could just know what this man is going through. Because it's breaking me. What are you apologizing for? Because he has to leave us here.
I don't know.
No, you do. He feels guilty for not being capable to actually tell us what's going on with him because he wants to, but he physically can't. Because he's not allowed to. There's something stopping him from telling us, and it's something that he can't control. Like, it's not his say. Let me say it like this. So he wants to tell us, but he can't, so he's feeling guilty because of that. And right now, because of the fact that, let me say it differently, because of the deal that he made, he has to leave us here so that he won't risk us actually being confronted with bigger danger. But he's still leaving us right now unprotected. We can't use the force that is living within us because we're too mentally and physically weak. So right now we're unprotected. If a spawn shows up while this man is forced to return to where he came from, we're dead. And he can't do shit about it. So he feels guilty. I could almost hear CAIN's skin sizzling from the burning seal. I didn't want to think about the torment it cost him. He's using all the chances he can to remain with us. I'm dying. The wind ruffled his hair, and I remembered the other night his gaze and his touch on my skin. He kissed me. Does that mean he really needs me? It means he loves you. What you mean? CAIN resisted, not letting the seal affect him, but I felt like he was about to disappear. He suddenly broke the kiss and then placed his hands on either side of my face. He exhaled heavily, and I laid his head on my shoulder. Apparently, the seal brings more than just physical pain, since even an immortal suffers so much from it. I lifted his sleeve, turning my head, and touched the sizzling skin with my lips. CAIN shuddered and then swallowed.
Don't untouch this filth.
Even if he called it filth. Well, the seal is a part of you now, and you don't seem disgusted to me. CAIN looked into my eyes. I'm in love.
You shouldn't say that. Wait until you remember everything.
So we do know. We do know what it is. Why? Will it hurt me?
You would be hurt. I would be hurt.
Oh my god, what is it? What happened? Oh, he actually fears the day that we remember because he has the feeling that we're not gonna want to be with him after we know the whole truth. So he's trying to prolong from us finding out what's truly going on because he's already invested in us. And he fears the day we could find out because the second we do, he has the feeling that he will lose us completely. Then don't just tell me anything. Don't ever talk about the past.
Even if you forget who you were.
I looked away and CAIN slowly approached me, just barely touching my lips. He kissed me slowly and languidly.
Don't ask for that again. I know you won't resist until you know everything.
What can we do? CAIN won't sacrifice any part of you or let himself run from the truth. The seal hissed again and CAIN bared his teeth. Realizing we were running out of time, I asked, what awaits you there?
Hell.
Well, in literal sense or mental sense. Here is no better, but come back. Then I closed my eyes for just a second, and when I opened them, CAIN was no longer there. The heartache. The pain. He gone. Well, all good things come to an end. An hour earlier, sorry. Dimitri froze in the doorway of the barracks. His gaze was directed at the figure of his former friend. Bearing his shoulder and part of his arm, Jan sewed Abomination skin onto his own. Why the fuck would you even want to do that? Like, I did say I have a very imaginative mind. Like, I have to actually have the picture in front of my face or else I can't imagine what the situation is all about. And this is actually disgusting. Oh. Especially since they said that the second that the human skin or more like the blood or just like in general like the eternal stuff like blood, fluids, etc. comes into contact with the skin of the human, they immediately turn. Why the fuck would he want to sew something on him? Clutching the dog tag intended for Jan in his hand, the general quietly entered the room and closed the door behind him. Now, y'all, I can't get the images out of my head. Surprise flashed across Jan's face, quickly replaced by humility and indifference. That's a look. Sorry.
What are you doing?
That.
Stitching up my wound. With an abomination!
Me.
Everyone has their own shortcomings.
Why, baby? No, baby. Dimitri squinted, tucking the dog tag into his pocket. He probably regretted giving in to sentimentality as he was about to accept a person he knew nothing about, possibly endangering the squad. What are you talking about? He actually saved your asses twice.
Abomination blood turns a person into an infected...
Oh, good, so... Good, so that was my thought as well. Like, the fuck, why?
After they tore off my skin, the wound healed, but the area became keratinized. It barely moves like a slab, but blood doesn't get through. Why are you doing this? How did you even think of this? Who are you now? The wound begins to come apart if I don't fasten it. Nothing holds the edges together except their skin. No thread, no metal, no other flesh. I tried. So what? Do you think what you're doing hasn't affected you at all? Does it look like it?
I'm sorry, like... I don't know what to say, like... Could not be me. Let's just say it like this. Could not be me. Rushing toward Jan, Dimitri put him in a chokehold, but Jan quickly got out of it, knocking the general down on his back and pinning him to the floor with his knee. I actually think this is funny. Like, he came in trying to accept him, and then he said, nope. Scratch that. I'm in defensive mode. I'm attacking you now. Well,
as I thought. Where did you get such strength before you could barely even grace me?
Irritated, Jan frowned. Dimitri made it look like his former friend was hiding something.
That day changed a lot in me.
What happened between them?
Like the fact that you became a monster.
Again with the fucking monster. Sir, have you looked at yourself? Have you reflected on what you put our character through? Have you reflected on your own actions? If you don't add fuel to fire, bitch, like, you are not in the position to say that someone else is a monster if you are actually contributing to your own reputation and people viewing you as a monster because of your cold-hearted bitch-ass attitude. You have no fucking right to go to Jan saying that he's a monster when your actions literally show that you are one too.
I still don't understand anything.
You really don't. But what do we expect from this bitch? Removing his knee from the general's chest, Jan stood up. Pulling on his vest, he began to gather the bandages and needles. Realizing Jan hadn't taken advantage of his moment of weakness to finish him off or harm him, the general stood up and leaned back against the wall as he rubbed the bridge of his nose again. Jan and the others, like CAIN, Greg, they are way too kind. Would not have been me. Like, I would have smacked the general the first time. Like a lot of people, again, they were extremely shocked when they saw my reaction to the general in the very first episode, where they were all like swooning over him because of his muscles and whatever, and I immediately told him to shut the fuck up. Like, that's, again, I just want to give the mentality out. Ladies and gentlemen, or more like my pure-hearted souls, my little bitches, keep it in mind, like, I'm doing this for you. Outside beauty is not everything. If your personality is trash, you are trash, because the outside beauty will be gone in a few years. Like, when you grow up, your beauty deteriorates. Like, you will not always be beautiful. We're not vampires. Your outside beauty will deteriorate, but the ugliness you carry within will remain. So if the both of us can actually connect based on our personality, if we can emotionally connect, your outside beauty won't do shit for you. Alright? And that's the message that I want to give out. Yes, Dimitri is beautiful. He is gorgeous on the outside. But he's so ugly on the inside that it's making him ugly. So I'm sorry for the people that love Dimitri and may possibly have even forgiven him for the bullshit that he pulled. But I can't forgive him because he hasn't done shit to actually imply that he feels true remorse for what he put us through. The only thing that he did was giving us a little bit of slack for losing the book. But nothing out of that. Every time that something negative happened, we were immediately the scapegoat. And now, all of a sudden, his attention moved on to Jan. And that's why we're not the ones being immediately targeted when something goes wrong. But if Jan wouldn't be here right now, who would be the scapegoat? Us!
Maybe it's not so clear-cut. I'm alive too. No, exceptions break the system and I can't allow that, so I have to pretend they don't happen. I haven't been exposed to abomination blood, and the bite of an infected doesn't cause transformation.
Oh, really? So it literally must be blood. But in general, that don't make sense. Or does it mean that their blood needs to mix with the human blood? Because in my eyes, if you bite me, blood will still spill. So it has nothing to do with body fluid or whatever. Like, you actually need to have an open wound, and the infected needs to have one too. And the second that they actually then put their blood into your system, you immediately turn. Okay.
I would have been fine in any case, but Jan's situation's completely different. He's like a walking time bomb, ready to explode at any moment.
It takes one to know one, huh? Dimitri raised his eyes and looked at his former friend.
Or is he not?
Don't be coming with this high trip road on me, sir. Like, you be fucking it up every chance you get.
What's that? The screams. Spawn!
Really? Are we seeing them fight too? Oh, us present time. Well, shit. Approaching the edge of the shattered dome, I watched as dark shadows swarmed the base trying to break in. Flames flickered in Adam, but they didn't spread far. Smoke rose to the crimson sky. I'm sorry, I keep on having the image in my head that this was literally the only place that was safe on the entire earth. And now it's completely swarmed by abominations. How many were even coming our way? For not even the soldiers that were capable to protect the dome for many, many months were capable to stop them from coming through. Since CAIN left, no new abominations have arrived. I think the others have a chance to regain control of the building. Girl, the next invasion is gonna break everything. How long do you think it will take for them to actually reconstruct the entire infrastructure? Stones crumbled beneath my feet and I stepped back. Maybe I can get inside the cathedral? Better not linger out in the cold. I mean, I agree with you there, but if the building is actually shaken, then you will die if you move too much. Examining my surroundings, I found a collapsed staircase leading down. It was no longer possible to descend, but I managed to spot something below that faintly resembled a broken grand piano. So that's how CAIN knows this place. Maybe he played here once. Aww. After a few minutes of search, I realized there was no way down from the roof where I stood. He put you there on purpose. If you're easy to get out, then you're not well protected, babe. Climbing down was suicide. There was at least 60 feet of semi-destroyed vertical wall below me. The only possible route involved the fragile scaffold creaking in the wind. Great, so she does have sense. That's something good. They were a sort of annex to the cathedral, left over from the cataclysm when people still believed it was meaningful to restore damaged cultural monuments. The metal poles shake and sway even from weak wind gusts. I don't think this old thing can hold my weight. And the radio's silent for some reason. Taking it out of my backpack, I pressed a button, but the device made none of its usual sounds. Honestly, is she dumb? Like, if she actually puts the radio on, the spawn can hear it. She will immediately be signalizing her location. God. But the device made none of its usual sounds. I must be too far from the others. I need to try again after getting farther down. The cold night wind blew all around me, pulling the bandages off my head. I wrapped them around my frozen feet. CAIN, were you really trying to save me and not kill me? Girl, did you not see how worried he was? Did you think he was like a goodbye kiss? Mwah, bye, bitch. Thinking back to CAIN, I remembered his seal. I've never seen it so close. The symbol reminds me of something very obvious. Honestly, but in general, like, I know that I'm not toxic to CAIN, but her, she slept with someone. I mean, of course, desire and everything fine by me, but desire doesn't completely cloud your judgment. At least that's what I want to believe. With her bitch-ass attitude, she's trying to tell me she kissed him and she was intimate with someone that she doesn't trust. I would be a little, how do you say it? I would have this sort of reluctancy to believe everything he's telling me because of the fact that he's always so closed off. But there has to be this sort of trust between you and me. He has been honest. The only thing that he wasn't honest about is what kind of deal he made and with whom, because he physically can't. And she's telling me that she still don't trust him. She thinks that he left her there to die. Well, Sitting behind a toppled statue that was missing its head and arms, I opened the book hoping to find an answer to the question tormenting me. Almost immediately my eyes fell on the pentagram. I could draw it even from memory, and at that moment I understood why the symbol felt familiar. Lost in thought, I began muttering under my teeth. The symbol, it's one of its parts. But what does the pentagram mean? I still haven't figured it out. I forgot about it while focusing on deciphering the text. Now that I have all the pages, I should be able to understand it. Pulling out my notebook, I tucked my pants down over my toes. As much as possible shivering, I began to shift through the symbols, occasionally brushing away snow that drifted onto the book. After an hour of work, I could barely feel my limbs, and the abomination's screams had long since faded. The answer to my question was right in front of me, but that didn't make it any easier. I'm sorry, but it's the fact that he literally disappeared an hour ago, and he still hasn't appeared. I'm worried about CAIN. Anxious, I scratched my arm raw, flinching every time a snowflake touched the abrasions. With a wild stare, I looked at my own notes, wanting to believe I was wrong, that the fear nesting under my skin was just a bite of frost, and the translated text was the production of a feverish imagination. At the end of that day's translated page, there were only 3 words leading me to one final answer. Uh-oh. Oh my god. Father of lies. Oh my god. Baal. A wave of chills shivered through my body, and I hurriedly snapped my notebook shut, tossing it aside as if it were cursed. I grabbed my chest and opened my eyes wide. My head was empty, but my body was screaming something I couldn't fathom. As soon as I calmed down, thoughts began to flood my mind on their own. Did he place the seal on CAIN? What does it mean? The cult is trying to summon him, apparently acting on his behalf through CAIN. But why? If beings like Pylon and Ania can ascend to Earth, what's stopping him? And why does he need humans? Something's not right. He's using CAIN for his own purposes. There must be a reason. If his sigil is mentioned in the Book of the Apocalypse, then Sifa, God, he was probably hoping for him. Or was he afraid of him? Was he warning him about potential danger? I need to translate the entire paragraph. But if CAIN serves a demon and people are turned inside out for summoning him, what should I expect? And who needs the Book of the Apocalypse? CAIN or Baal? I don't think that CAIN needs the book. Baal needs the book, but I have no fucking idea why she's so shocked. Like, did I forget something that was mentioned in the story before? Hands trembled from nerves. I gathered my backpack. Closing it, I threw it over my shoulders. I shouldn't wait for him here. I need to leave. And what is really between us? I don't think he was just toying with me, but... Alright, that's not important now. Approaching the dome's collapsed edge again, I noticed the moon was gone, taking its bloody red hues with it. Now daytime on Earth looks like this. The base no longer looked dark, the gunshots had ceased, and all the abominations had been killed. There was no fire inside, which meant Adam had successfully dealt with the assault. I hope none of the squad got hurt. If any of the squad members were wounded, that's even better. Honestly, at this point... I'm talking about most of the squad members, alright? Like, Jan, Greg, fine. Nick, he's a little bitch, dramatic, but yes, I hope none of them got hurt. I don't want any of them to share Kira's and Nick's fate. A girl, you killed Nick. Your relationship though with the squad has improved. Whatever you say, girl. You killed Nick, babe. What you thinking? I hope we don't die trying to get out of there. Like, she mad. But on the other side, I understand, like, we're freezing to death over there. The only way down was on the unreliable scaffolding. Oh my god. Eyeing the structure tilting in the wind, I pursed my lips, then rolled up my pajama pants so they wouldn't catch on anything, and I jumped onto this sturdy-looking metal bar. As soon as I grabbed it, its bolts broke and went flying. Miraculously reacting in time, I grabbed a wire that was wrapped around the poles. The rusty bar fell, knocking apart half the structure I'd planned to climb down on. A little farther and I'd be down there. The last possible route fell apart. Struggling back to the broken statue, I angrily threw off my backpack and looked at my palms, where crimson growths had formed. Damn rusty wire. Sitting on the cold ground, I pulled my knees up to my chest and rested my head on them. There has to be another option. There's always a way out. Taking out a few sheets from my notebook, I wrote large letters forming the word "help" and spread them on the snow. The writing's too thin. It won't be visible, but I don't have much ink left. I had to dip my frozen hands into the snow and then run my wet fingers over the writing, waiting for it to dampen and smear. Dripping some fabric into thin stripes, I threaded them through holes in the pages and tied them together before hanging them down off the collapsed dome. After a long hour of waiting, I heard wings flapping above the cathedral roof.
Simona?
Oh, Pylon. My man. Hearing Pylon's voice, I came out to him.
I flew around the area, but didn't think to look for you here.
He looked at me disdainfully, but still opened his arms. Nah. The eye roll. He's like that little bitch. But honestly, I feel bad for him. I'm not mad at CAIN. Honestly, I'm extremely worried. He would have never left us there to die. Like, what's keeping him from coming back? Like, what is that bitch doing to him?
Let's go. We need to return to Adam. I'll carry you.
Aww. Cute. Well, goddamn. The base was littered with the corpses of the defeated spawns. Squads of soldiers who I'd occasionally passed in the halls were methodically clearing the area. Adam's facade had suffered further damage. The second floor took the worst of it. The fire had ravaged the abandoned part of the building. Its walls were covered with a thick layer of soot. Well, passing near the church, I noticed it had been damaged as well. Some windows were shattered and crimson blood trickled down the steps. What happened here? A few people emerged from the church. Some whimpered softly through tears. Some clutched bandages part of their bodies, while others wept uncontrollably, hiding their faces in their hands.
No matter how much we pray for her, what's the use? Ever since she came to the city, everything has only gotten worse. Our lives used to be peaceful, but now the whole world has gone mad. They shouldn't have meddled with that book.
Gabe and Donovan are using me for their games, and now people are beginning to despise the image of me that they created. How clever it was to defy someone only to crush them later with the weight of a crowd. And the two of them will watch the mob's justice unfold with pious expressions on their faces. Watching the crowd retreat, I noticed a pastor standing inside the church. A gust of wind caused the doors to close, hiding him from view. This conversation can't wait. The longer I put it off, the worse things will get. Knowing no one would be thrilled about my idea, I slipped away from my companion and disappeared into the crowd of soldiers cleaning the street. Sorry, but this is important. Making sure I was alone, I entered the church and shut the door behind me. Now, you see, you and me, bitch, we gotta talk. Gabe stood at the altar, his back to me. Without turning, he greeted me softly.
Simona, how are you and Divas?
Walking barefoot over rocky debris, I felt a stinging pain in my feet. I'm not here to talk about that. You encourage people to blame me for everything.
Oh no, Simona, we all wish for your success.
Right. Gabe's hypocritical words made me want to laugh at how absurd they sounded. Oh, Gabe, we should all pray for you instead. You're our hope, our beacon, our faith, and our hearts. The Lord himself speaks through your words. The pacer finally turned, a crooked smile crossing his face. Oh, I hate people with two faces. I really do.
You exaggerate, Simona.
No, this is just a bitch-ass attitude that you be giving me. I prefer people that are blunt and upfront. I prefer to know what I'm up against, y'all. Did I say something inaccurate? Gabe tensed and quickly put his righteous mask again. I'm
a tool, nothing more, nothing less, like all of us.
Is he hinting that I should accept my fate and keep quiet? Approaching him, I said coldly, Hear my prayer, Pastor. I never want my name spoken within the walls of your church again.
That's now up to the people. I'm afraid you've already become their chosen one.
Path of the Devils was so frustrated, I touched a cross hanging around the pacer's neck. The candle on the altar suddenly went out. You should not mess with me. Do not mess with me, because I've got the devil's whispers on my back. Like, sorry, Paster, I don't think my character will care that we are in the church. The day had already started off wrong, and I had no energy left for pointless arguments. The irritation building inside me began to overpower rational thoughts demanding release. Allowing my anger to take over, I yanked the chain sharply, causing a gape to choke and fall at my feet. Gripping the cross tightly, I drove its pointed end into the pacer's ear.
What are you doing?
I pressed harder, and a thin trickle of blood dripped onto his shoulder. I want you to stop using my words. Like, I'm here to help people. I want to protect this town. I want to protect the people I care about. And you have the audacity to have two faces telling me that you wish all of us, that everyone wishes that I have success. And when I'm out of sight, you encourage people to blame me for all the things that are going wrong in the world? You actually have a death wish, my dear. Since you didn't hear me, I'll help clear your ears and repeat myself. I hope once will be enough. Don't involve me in your games. Releasing the cross, I stepped back. The pacer's hunched figure began to tremble. Then he let out a low laugh. Agape raised his face to the heavens, his lips frozen in a mad smile, tears streaming from his eyes. The doors behind me burst open and an angry Pylon stormed in. Well, Pylon, happy to see you. Like, we were here. But honestly, I think this is so fucking cute from one side. When someone sees that you're out of sight and they immediately feel the need to come looking for you. I love it.
Where did you disappear to? We're waiting, you know. Don't make me chase after you.
But you already have, Pylon. Nodding, I left the church, leaving the pacer behind. Bye, bitch. I was taken to the barracks, located for the most part in the surviving wing, which had been decently repaired. The ceilings there were lower and without any trace of gothic elements. Asking for a change of clothes, I went into one of the rooms to get dressed. Well, are we seeing this the fuck? Have we seen how cold it is outside? Why the fuck would I want to wear something that isn't pants? Y'all, the options that they be given sometimes, I don't understand them. I just don't understand why I would choose. Give me a second. There, we're all happy. Once finished, I packed my dirty clothes into my backpack and joined the others. Everyone except Lester and CAIN were seated on the beds. The angel was missing and no one knew the soldiers' whereabouts. No, the angel has been taken away to hell. And Lester is gone for good.
He's not answering his radio and no one's seen him. I shouldn't have sent him down there. He only had a knife. That idiot probably couldn't fend them off. The other squads are clearing bodies from the square and removing debris. Let's not jump to conclusions. Maybe it'll be okay. And he's just stuck somewhere.
Sitting on the edge of a double bed, I looked at the others. Taking a chair from the desk, the general turned it to face me and straddled his legs on either side.
We need to ask you a few questions.
Me?
I'd imagine the abominations tore each other apart, not by incident, right?
Ooh.
You controlled them. How?
I knew that they weren't dumb. How the fuck am I supposed to know?
Things have been odd from the start. When we found you near the rift, the spawn didn't attack you, even when you reached out to one of them.
Exhaling, I looked down at my hands. If only I knew what was happening to my body. The book doesn't mention this, at least not in anything I've translated so far. I don't remember ever being able to do any of this before. What changed? And where did I get the strange scar from? I ran my finger over the scar and it suddenly flared with pain. Now that I think about it, every time I touch it, something strange happens. First, those bizarre dreams with Nick, then throwing up the black ooze. A shiver ran
through me. Anna cleaned it up for me back then, but she didn't say anything. Maybe I was the only one who saw that black sludge. A hallucination, perhaps. Could it be spawn blood which clouds people's minds? But if that's truly in the scar, why haven't I turned yet? I think this substance is somehow affecting me. Raising my hand, I pointed to the scar. The general glanced at his former friend and frowned.
In what sense?
I'm not sure how it's affecting my body, but inside it there's a pantogen. The same that's in abomination blood. Isn't that right, Anna? Yeah, because you took it. Withstanding my gaze, Anna didn't flinch.
As I tested it, the blood from his skull matches the infected sample from Portia.
Before the Siberia base sank underground and I disappeared, nothing abnormal was happening to me. So the surprise abilities must have emerged over the past 3 years, which I don't remember. Apart from the memory gas and the scar, my body hasn't changed, so it's likely connected to it. I think after the base collapsed, I ended up in a place where the scar was left on me. But how, why, and by whom?
And how do you use these abilities? What exactly can you do?
I don't know. Back there, my body just seemed to know what to do. Better not reveal everything for now.
I mean, it's not like we actually know that much more. And yes, back in the day, I would always hate when our character would say something, but I feel like right now, because this actually could be helpful to save people's lives, I think they have a right to know, or more like they have to know what we're capable of. Because as useful it can be, it can also be extremely dangerous for them if we can't control our powers. The general sighed.
Begins the question, could yesterday's attack on the base have been related to you?
Why to me? No, I have no reason to do that. The general rubbed the bridge of his nose and shook his head wearily. He needed to make decisions but couldn't make sense of the situation. I understood him. Calculating the best course of action without knowing all the variables was nearly impossible. How could he lead a squad that trusted him when he didn't have clarity? He didn't understand, but he needed to. CAIN said he was being rushed, then the mark on his hand lit up. That means these creatures were sent to the base by the father of lies, Baal. I don't think I'm the main abomination.
Then who is? And who are you?
How am I supposed to know? I hate it when people are that dumb. When I tell you I don't know. 3 years have been missing from my mind. And you keep on asking me, who are you? How am I supposed to know? Shrugging, I sighed. Just a normal person?
Under very unusual circumstances. That could be it for all of us.
Silence filled the room. Not believing his own words, the general muttered as if obligated to.
Can you guarantee you won't use your abilities until we understand where they come from?
It's not like we can, actually. Yes. No. Period. Honestly, respect to her for that. Because if I say no, then you will have some bitch-ass attitude to say about this. If we actually find ourselves in a matter of life and death, I will still use the capabilities. Who are you to stop me?
I can't shake the feeling we've left the fox in the henhouse.
After the conversation, I could see the squad was uneasy. They couldn't rid of someone working on the book, but trusting me had again become difficult. Touching the scar again, I suddenly wondered how long CAIN had been in the squad. What did Dimitri know about him anyway? General, how did CAIN join the squad?
Do you think it's connected to what we're discussing?
If only I knew. Sighing heavily, I turned away.
It was an accident.
Could you tell me about it in detail? He my man, I need to know.
It happened when I was just starting to put together a new squad. Donovan said there was an immortal causing havoc in one of the deserted towns. People didn't know what his intentions were. He was simply destroying everything inside.
Rage.
At the time, I already had Pylon and Aeneas with me. We accepted the mission and brought along a few others. That's when I first saw CAIN. He was out of his mind, completely unaware of us. His power manifested as bursts of energy surrounding him, preventing us from getting close.
So like the few days ago?
The energy destroyed or killed anything and everything they touched. It was like how he was at the mansion.
How strange.
We tried everything, but nothing could subdue him. He kept moving forward, destroying everything in his path, but after a time he would stop. He would stand there as if asleep and then resume wrecking everything again.
Yeah, Bob was controlling him.
After several failed attempts, we managed to do something. First, we had to suppress his power, and me and Palin worked methodically to encircle him. You saw how that happened under the monastery. When he came to his senses, he didn't fully understand what was happening. I thought he looked scared, as if he realized he might have been wandering in a daze for years.
And after that, did he immediately join the squad?
No, he left and I gradually assembled the group we have now. Cain returned only 2 or 3 months ago.
Ooh.
He asked to join the squad, saying that if there was a repeat of what happened before, he wanted people nearby who could stop him. It turned out Cain had spent more time among humans than other immortals. He knew more about religions, books, and ancient texts than anyone else. We needed his knowledge and strength. Before you arrived, all hope restored on him. For some reason, Cain believed the book would be found and translated, as if he already knew.
So you're saying that he's a psychic? That he can actually just see that something's about to happen? Hearing that last sentence, I froze. No, it's still too early to draw conclusions. Rushing would mean I'll miss something. The darkness outside the window began to glow faintly red, signaling the moon's rise. Judging by the general's expression, the conversation was over for the day. Standing up, he turned to me again, this time without any steel in his voice. He said,
Hurry back to translating. We found the spear and now we need to understand how to use it.
Actually, I have something new. I've started working on the next passage, but I don't want to share unverified interpretations. Sometimes a single word can change an entire sentence. I need a little more time. The general nodded.
Your room was destroyed as were many others. You should know where to find us. The barracks are full. This is the last one, so we'll settle here with the guys. Anna and Ania already have places in the women's dormitory. To ensure you aren't distracted from translating, I asked for something secluded and quiet. All that's left in a tiny room, but at least no one will bother you there.
Grateful, I nodded to Dimitri, grabbed my backpack and rose from my feet.
Noah will show you the room.
Another annoyed sigh.
Who else but me?
Shut up, Noah.
I'm glad you don't...
Honestly. Dimitri slay. That's hilarious. Honestly, that would be me, though. Very happy that you don't mind, because even if you mind, I don't give a damn. My new room was on the same floor as the others, almost in the center and only a few feet away from the entrance to the barracks. Pushing the battered door open, I stepped inside. The space was indeed tiny.
That's quite the look. Don't even think about complaining. Anyone will kill to not have to see someone else's bare ass every morning.
Noah. That's fine, I was just surprised.
The bedding should be new, so don't worry. As for the rest, it'll do, I suppose.
I walked inside and sat on the small double bed.
Do you need anything else?
Now you're worried. I don't think so. If I do, I'll let you know.
Okay, then I'm off.
The door shut again and I was alone, adjusting to some place new again. And yet, despite everything, I wish Cain were here too. Me! Where the fuck is he? What is that bitch doing to him? Reading for bed, I hung my backpack next to me on the bed frame and covered myself with a thin blanket. I'm so worried about Cain. The next morning, the squad gathered to receive their rations, but problems arose before we even reached the supply depot. Our path was blocked by others waiting in the corridor. It turned out they still hadn't received their food. Donovan appeared, cigarette in hand, and grimly scanned the crowd.
The depot's been damaged. And what does that mean? That if you interrupt me one more time, I'll rip out your disgusting throat and feed it to the rats.
Damn. Crushing the cigarette, Donovan burned her hand on the glowing ash as she angrily ground it into the wall. Adjusting her clenched jaw, she continued.
Birds and mice chewed through some of the ration packs. The piping was damaged too, so without rainwater it's going to be a big problem. I'll tally up the remaining food so you get new portions this evening. In the meantime, we'll roll barrels outside to collect clean snow. Before moonrise, clear the area of debris and filth. Go through the rooms and grab anything valuable or important, but don't overdo it.
The medical station is short on painkillers and alcohol. If you find anything, I'll give you double rations tonight. But no fighting. If I find out there is any, both parties will be in trouble. Pushing through the crowd, a soldier who seemed to have just returned to the city approached her. He looked around in shock, unable to comprehend how so much destruction could have happened overnight. Yes. He spoke quietly, but our squad was standing closest to Donovan and caught some of what he said. Some people broke away from the groups heading to Rogov, joined the cult, vanished into the night. After listening, Donovan sent him to her office. She's probably going to dig deeper into this. That's strange. Why would people leave with the cold? What could it offer them? That's all. Get to work. Clapping her hands, Donovan turned and left. The crowd around us gradually dissipated. Some lingered near the depot doors, hoping for a miracle, while others spread out around the base, searching for supplies.
Don't forget you have training first. Other squads will handle the cleanup. Your priority is to stay in shape.
Standing next to me, Noah kept adjusting his glasses, clearly nervous. Dark circles shadowed his eyes. Lester's still missing.
Kiss and makeup. Again, I'm still shipping these two.
You said he was checking the abandoned floor, right? I don't think it's been fully searched. Take someone from the squad and check it out, but keep me updated. Usually when one goes missing, another one soon follows.
Always quick to make a sarcastic comment. Noah only nodded silently that time. No, honestly, don't know what's going on with Dimitri this episode I'm living.
I'll go with him.
Good. Do you want to work on translating the book? Our next steps depend on your progress.
I know.
Then let's not waste any time.
As the squad dispersed, I headed to my new room. Halfway there, I stopped to think. It's getting colder. I need some warm clothes and thermos from my old room. Otherwise, I'll get sick and my work will slow down. Turning back, I hurried to the opposite wing. This woman is insane. The door to my room was open. Entering, I froze. Standing by the collapsed wall with his back to me was an immortal I'd never met before. Excuse you! Snow from outside below against his bare feet, and a torn medical gown flapped in the wind, its back shredded in vertical slits to accommodate wings. Slowly the stranger turned around. His expressionless face showed no emotion. Slightly parting his lips, he asked dryly, "Was he the one deep down? Like in the last episode we saw at the end, a clone." "Oh, he cute." "Y'all, I'm sorry, I'm just shocked. What is happening? Why? Is this your room?"
Of course there would be bratty bitches like that. Of course. Like me just being worried about my man CAIN disappearing out of nowhere, and then a new sexy fine-ass man comes around. Why not? Oh my god, I can't. But we will see what next episode will be like. I hope you enjoyed this video with me. Tell me in the comments below what you think was best, and I will see you in another video. Bye.